Well, welcome to my channel Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex and welcome to the Northern Arctic, up in Lapland. And just because I'm up here and remote doesn't mean as a YouTuber, I can't believe I've just called myself that. As a content creator, I haven't been able to escape my obligation of making a power bank video for EcoFlow. This is the third time EcoFlow have sent me a power bank, and I have a habit of not taking the videos seriously. They sent me the River Pro, of which I've got half naked and reenacted Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. I came in like a wrecking ball! And I may have also turned it into an electric stand-up paddleboard, dressed as a pirate and got drunk and harassed people. And then they sent me the River 2, which I may have used as a beer mat, somewhere to serve canapes on, a sporran, as I was making fun of its new flat top. However, joke's on me, because actually it's become quite a useful drone charging station on this trip, which means I can have it where I've glued my drone chargers onto the top of it, and it stops me having to have all my chargers sliding around whilst driving or the inverter on. So, what have they sent me this time? Well, they sent me an absolute chad of a unit. The EcoFlow River 2 Pro. And well, the EcoFlow River 2 Pro is sort of if the River Pro and the little River 2 had some sort of child. And this heifer came out. However, I think River Pro should be asking River 2 why their child came out with European plugs and not UK ones. That's definitely unrelated to me asking EcoFlow to send the unit up to the Arctic in Finland and assuming they would still think I wanted the UK plug. But no, River Pro should ask River 2 some questions. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, this will do. It now identifies as mixed plug type. As usual, I don't want to read off a spec list because that's kind of boring and you can go online to do it. So I'm going to show you what you can do with it, or what I do with it. First off, with the new flat top, the possibilities are endless. With the River 2 Pro and a flat top of that size, it's an ideal cutting board. Well, as I've now shown, the River 2 Pro has an amazing cutting board feature. Let's get to using the inverter for cooking. Right, let's add a little bit extra. A local old lady just walked past and must think I'm an absolute lunatic. Maybe I should just glue that there like my drone charging station. I could have my electrical portable outdoor cooking unit. Right, unit is 100% on. Let's turn on the inverter. Turn on the maximum there, and let's cook some food. Right, well, food's on. It's currently drawing 734 watt, which is less than the inverter. The inverter on this unit is 800 watt. And one of the advantages of the EcoFlow units is they have their X-Boost mode, which, if you are using a resistor Viper or some more simple electrics, you can power higher wattage items as it drops the AC voltage. And a battery like this, which is 762 watt hours, pulling 760 watt at the minute, I'd expect about probably just under an hour's runtime, which is what the display is currently showing. So it does have all of its DC ports on the front as well. You can charge with your USB-A if you want, so I can charge my phone whilst I'm cooking my lunch. Or if I also wanted, I could charge by USB-C and charge my iPad. The USB-C port can also charge the unit itself as well. Right, well that is about done, so I'm going to turn that off. We've already dropped it down to 74%. I'm going to go eat my lunch and then we'll go from there. What? Content creators got to eat as well. I've got a crazy idea that I think both of these companies would not recommend. So let me tell you about some more of the features. I want to point out I am some sort of genius. The MyRider's got a 250 watt hour battery. This has got a 768 watt hour battery. Charging it whilst I ride, I've quadrupled the range of the MyRider. I think that means the MyRider's range around, doing maths in my head, 160 miles. I'm not going to ride it like this because MyRider, why did you put the charge port here? I can't safely do that. My feet are going to take the wire off, and it is borrowed as well. Probably also shouldn't be riding it whilst charging. If you realistically wanted to do it, probably best to have a rucksack and charging a spare battery in your rucksack. Right, I don't think anyone can question my genius with the EcoFlow powered bike. Oh, this is not working well, is it? Right, well, let me tell you about a few of the other features of the EcoFlow 2 Pro and why it's different from the EcoFlow Pro. One, they've upped the inverter. The old inverter's maximum output was 600 watt. It's now 800. And more importantly, they've also changed the chemistry of the battery. The River Pro used nickel-based lithium, which had an cycle count of around 800. The new River 2 Pro uses LiPo4 chemistry, which has a cycle count of around 3000. So the unit's lifespan is dramatically increased. I'm not sure. What there? Ooh. Ooh. Probably why I should invest in an action mount. Who needs action cam mounts anyway? You can just use an adapter plug, a sponge, the MyRider clip, and cable ties. It's genius. Right, on to the next segment. Charging. Oh. So, another use of the EcoFlow River Pro. It's quite a good seat. So the other area I want to talk about is charging, and there's lots of different ways to charge the unit. As normal, you can charge it with DC, so you can plug it into the van cigarette lighter when you're driving and charge it that way at a maximum of 100 watts. And that's how I charge my unit most of the time. I don't run the engine as a generator to charge it. I use it as a byproduct if I'm driving anyway. And since I've already got my battery-to-battery chargers charging the main habitation battery in the van, I might as well try and get another 100 watt out of the engine. They've also got USB-C charging, so you can plug in a USB-C cable on the front, but that depends, and that's up to 100 watt charging, but that mostly depends on the USB-C socket you're using. And the impressive feature of most of the EcoFlow units is the AC fast charging. This particular unit charges at 940 watt, which is almost a kilowatt, and can go from 0 to 100% in 70 minutes, which is frankly pretty impressive actually. That battery actually charges far faster than my van charges my bigger leisure system batteries. And you will see these units quite a lot referred to as solar generators as well. And like normal, it's got a built-in solar charger. So you could plug in a solar panels up to 50 volts and a maximum of 120 watts. EcoFlow have sent me with a 160 watt folding solar panel. However, It is somewhere in the Finnish postal system and I have no idea where it is. But hey, I'm in the Arctic anyway, so it wouldn't really be much use up here. But in the summer, I use the other floating solar panel EcoFlow I've sent me before to charge a smaller unit. Generally for charging these units, I charge them for free. And if it's the summer, it's off the solar, and if it's in the winter, they're plugged in whilst the van is running. So I'm not using the van to charge it up, I'm just driving regardless and just using it to top up the batteries. I did actually re-record that whole segment because I sat differently and it looked like this. And I didn't think you wanted to stare at my groin for the entirety of the segment. So one of the other features it does have is effectively AC pass-through. If you are plugged it into the wall charging on AC and you had your item being used as well, you would be drawing directly from the AC and not from the battery. And additionally to that, it's got a UPS function, and that means that if suddenly there was a power cut, basically take over, and the bit of equipment you're using wouldn't know there was a power cut, which depending on your use case, that might be quite an important feature for some. So same as normal, you've got access to the EcoFlow app. You can click on your unit, see what the current input is, the output, charge time remaining, and in settings, you can change a bunch of different parameters for the unit and do things such as update the firmware in the future. Well, this isn't a review. I've not had it long enough to make a review and an informed decision. But I've been happy with all my previous EcoFlow products, and I thought it might be best for me to actually say how I use it, power banks, and not just rattle off a lot of the spiel and numbers and information from the manual. I'm kind of have to say it from a content brief point of view. So on this Arctic trip, I've used the River Pro and the River 2 quite a lot. The River 2 I use quite often as my drone charging station. For me, it stops my batteries and my chargers going flying when they're going around the van, and I just charge it when I'm driving, making good use of that flat top. The River Pro, on the other hand, which is the previous series of this one, I use pretty much daily. Mostly, if I'm honest, it's for using my laptop. Whilst I do have an inverter in the van, I generally don't use it for the laptop. You have to turn it on, it does have power consumption, and if I'm rendering a video overnight, I would rather that it flattened the River 2, if for some reason the render or the upload took way longer or something went wrong, than it did drain my main system. Another thing I've ended up using power banks for is when I need power outside the vehicle. So running power tools, and in this case, being under the van and using a heat gun to melt my frozen gear stick cables. I've actually discovered whilst editing another use for it. Up here in the Arctic, it can be minus 20 plus outside. Inside the van, the heating is on and it makes it about 21 degrees, but the floor can still be about minus 10 even though it's insulated. The new one, with a flat top, gets warm because the inverter's on, and I've got a nice little feet warmer to keep my feet off the floor whilst I'm editing. On top of that, it's good to have a backup in my eyes. The option as effectively a second leisure system, all in one in a small unit. Yes, a smaller inverter and a smaller battery than the rest of my van, but the versatility and the option to give me if something goes wrong is pretty good. If I needed to, I can use the heat gun. I could even wire the diesel heater and run that for probably 2 days off a single full charge of one of these. And any other AC or DC device I can pretty much run as long as it's underneath the inverter amount. Ooh. It's getting windy. Getting very windy, the camera's going over. Why am I under the van? I don't know, I needed to film another shot. And I forgot to mention, if you are interested in an EcoFlow product, if you check the affiliate link in the description, or click it anyway, because at least I then know you've watched the video. Helps my channel out, and if you want to purchase one, you can get it on there, and I might get a little bit of kickback. And maybe they'll send me some more stuff to make some silly videos with. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about the 5-year warranty. Do I think you could run an entire van of these? Probably a small van or a car camper, yeah. I think you could, if you're sort of a weekend warrior or for day trips, I think one of these would be a great option. Take it out of the van in the evening, charge it at home or with solar during the day, run a diesel heater. Definitely a lot of scope. Really, you've just got AC power or DC power in remote locations, and the limit is really your imagination. Well, I thought this would be the best way to film the video's outro. Certainly the most ridiculous. Ugh. So, if you have enjoyed this video, please do consider clicking on the affiliate link in the description just to visit the EcoFlow website and the page for the River 2 Pro. Then they do know that people actually watch my videos. Oh, camera, come back. Don't go. I don't know if I'm good enough at riding bikes to do this one-handed. Right, let's make this quick. Click on the link in the description. Helps me out, help me see EcoFlow, know people are watching the videos. Generally, I love EcoFlow power banks. I use them daily, as you've seen from many of my other videos, or just my general travel videos. The River 2 Pro range is probably the best under 1 kilowatt power banks on the market. And to be fair, their Delta range is probably the best above 1 kilowatt ones in the market. The camera is slowly getting lower. This is getting... Subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Give me a like, comment and tell me that I'm an idiot for doing videos like this, and that I should probably just make boring ones where I rattle off all the specs. Oh, it's getting harder. Subscribe to that one. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.